We are
Oh, shucks.
on, ma'am.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mommies and Money. We are back this week, and I'm super excited about our topic. But before we get into that, definitely like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, tune in with us every Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m., as well as our brother counterparts, Fathers and Finance, on Tuesday evenings at 6:30, and every third weekend Saturdays at 6:30 for Singles and Soaring. Correct? Am I right? Is it the fourth week? I'm sorry.
The fourth weekend.
My apologies. Fourth weekend of every month for Singles and Soaring. Just really quickly, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, our mission statement for Mommies and Money is we are in pursuit of excellence and the breaking of generational curses by empowering women and mothers through financial education to ensure a better future. So here on our channel, actually on our Zoom calls and our meetings, we are here to basically have fun and educate you on your financial literacy. We want to see everybody win financially. And this is a judgment-free zone, so we would love for you to join the conversation. You can definitely leave a comment in the chat to try to link up with us. We'll definitely get information out to you on how to register. And if you're interested in other things we have available, other tools that we utilize, we would like to get that information out to you as well. So my name is Laura Whedon, and the lovely Tanisha Steiger is my co-host. And so again, we're just super excited to have you all here, and let's jump right into it. Unless, Tanisha, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I just want to say hi. No, we can just jump right into it. Hi, people, Zoom world. I'm good.
Okay, so let's have the topic. What is our topic today?
Okay, so it's really just singles versus the married couples. But it's the financial benefits, so it's nothing too crazy. It's actually going to be a really great conversation to have. Me and Laura have gone back and forth about this, and she's married. I'm not, so not yet at least. But being single has its benefits and has its great financial benefits. But I know that being married also has great benefits too. So we're about to give you the best of both worlds until you want to cross over that line or that threshold. See how I did there? And then we can just sit there.
All right, so let's talk about it. Some of the greatest benefits of being married, well, financial benefits. There is a list of awesome benefits, starting with simply joining bank accounts. I mean, I know like nowadays, a lot of couples, they continue to keep a separate bank account, but there is positive things about having a joint account. I mean, it definitely makes things like paying your bills a lot easier when you're like, hey, I know what's in the account. I know what I'm bringing in. I know what my partner is bringing in. And so just having a joint account simplifies your married life. What about you, Tanisha?
Okay, so for somebody who's single like me, I guess I could save like a buttload of money. Just like one, I mean, I don't have to really worry about anyone else's debt or their credit. I just worry about my own. So, when I heard when you get married, if you're not open and honest about your finances, things can lead up to an argument or even a divorce. But I think that if I have just myself to take care of, or if I had a child, I would just have me and that child. So I'll be able to at least be able to focus on, hey, I can sit there and deal with my debt. What do I want to sit there and pay down in the next years or next 1 or 2 years or so? There's really several reasons to get out of debt. And for me being single, of course, I want to have a great strategy to even pay off my debt, which is kind of happy because when I found WSB, we have those type of things. Like we have workshops that actually help you sit there and pay off your debt. So it's debt management is also a big thing for anyone who is single and they're trying to get their mingle life together, but also their finances. So
That's an awesome point that you brought up about, managing debt. Being married, you do take on the other person's debt, but then again, you have a partner to work on it together. Not only you have joint accounts, but you also have joint income. So you have a lot more perhaps cash flow coming in. And say you're just struggling and you have somebody to have your back and somebody else that's bringing in that income to help you, bring down your debt. And if both parties are on the same page as far as debt management, as far as like getting rid of that debt, being more responsible, which is what we try to convey here on our platform, being financially responsible and eliminating your debt and saving. I think you'll be in great shape. And like she said, it's very important to have those conversations. If you don't get one thing that we say today, get this. Whether you're single, as far as like technically single, like you're in a relationship, but you're not married yet, or you're married, definitely want to have those financial conversations with your other half, because that is the number one reason that people do get divorced.
Number one.
That's number one. You'd be surprised that money is number one. So it's a very important thing. And a lot of people mishandle it, relationships or single, and so we want you to definitely get a handle on finances and have those tough conversations, because your relationships are going to flourish when you
do you think is kind of funny how like most people who even single or even like single or married, like, is it a scary conversation to actually have? I mean, I feel like someone like probably my friends, I know that I wasn't in, when I got into relationships, I was like, I can't go the next step because I got to still fix myself. And I don't want to walk into it with the $10,000 debt that I had. I think it's a scary conversation to have when it comes down to like being married.
I would have to say, first, I'll say me personally, I didn't have the struggles of talking finances. I've always been kind of open, I would say, in relationships. I was never afraid to have that kind of conversation. Why? Because I knew what I wanted to do. I can say, if this be the case, I can say, yeah, that looks bad, but here's my plan. You know what I mean? And I think that when it comes to marriage or relationships, as long as you have a plan of attack, you can be confident in discussing your finances. I think people are afraid to speak about it or to address it because they don't know. They don't know what to do with their finances. And, perhaps they've not had the right influences or examples set. And so they don't know how to talk about finances. And it's kind of like one of those taboo things, oh, okay, I won't talk about it, but this is what it is. Okay, I know we can just do joint accounts, but you know what I mean? People don't really look at it with goals in mind, perhaps because they don't know how to.
But then that also brings it back to like another thing for the single ones that are out there. Like I have 100% control over my spending and my savings too, So like you sat there and you touched on, it was said that one of the most common sources of strife, which we all know is actually anger or like arguments between couples, is money. And you said that, right? So like I said, it's very rare for two people to enter a relationship with virtually identical spending and saving habits, much less identical long-term financial goals. So far more often, one partner is thrifty and the other one loves to overspend, right? And then the habits prove difficult to shake. And even after the partners sit down and agree on a solution, which getting that conversation, that sit down might just take some time after like several arguments. But then you sat there and said, like I told you about the risk of financial infidelity, right? The one or both spouses are lying to each other about money. And like I told you, there was a report by CNBC CNBC, yeah, I'm pretty sure, found out the rates of financial infidelity are just as high at like 33% of couples in some demographics. So me, I don't need to worry about that. I just gotta control my own spending habits, and I can set my savings to the side. And if I know how to sit there and actually save right, and if I talk to anyone who's actually even like me or like you or like even like delete anybody that's like in WSB who is actually a financial advisor, we can show you how and where to save your money so you actually can grow your money and save it at the same time without the art. I think that's the kicker. Like if I'm going into marriage, I'll be like, well, honey, there's certain accounts we could put our money into that we can save money and grow our money separately, but together. Okay. Like you save yours, I save mine. So we have a backup plan. And then we know that, we can't touch that hard earned money and that's growing at a great rate of return. I think that conversation, yes, like you said, needs to be had. The issue, I think, is, again, no one wants to have it until it's too late. They rather spend money on the huge, extravagant wedding and not realize that, hey, probably $21,000 for a wedding for one day is something we could have put down or put in on something like an IUL, right? And that right there will actually grow much more in growth and be safe for both of us. And then we won't have to sit there and have that argument, or we won't have to go back and retrace and be like, hey, honey, we should have did this before, but why did we do this? Because you wanted the Vera Wang wedding dress. Like, or you're like, well, you wanted like 16 groomsmen. So like those type of arguments, I think.
That's my husband. 16 groomsmen. That's hilarious.
But I just think because that's how I got out of debt in the first place. I used to do money photography for people. Like you give them a package deal, but it wasn't cheap. I was like, okay, $3,200 for a package deal, and then I would sit there and have to put something together, and that was great for me. But at the same time, though, it just made me realize, oh wow, this industry is on and popping.
$1 billion industry at that.
Right.
If I can just piggyback. We talk about money, okay?
Piggyback off of it.
Piggyback off of your comment there. I think it also comes down to the communication aspect, like you were saying. Like most people don't talk about it, but when the conversation is had, you know what, to be honest with you, I feel like if you want to have a $20,000 wedding and you got it like that, you know what I mean? Like you budgeted in to like your everyday expenses, you've taken the time, or you know how to put it away. Like you're budgeting for your wedding, but then you're also budgeting for your home, or you're budgeting for your vacation in your home. I think as long as you're trying to be responsible, then you should be able to do it. Like, I don't knock anybody that wants to have the lavish wedding, but don't go broke trying to do it. You know what I mean? Don't go above your means to try to do it. And a lot of couples need to just be honest with themselves as the individual, and then with their spouse when it comes to the things that they want to see. Like my husband and I are buying a home. And we said to our family, look, we're not going on any trips this year. Why? Because we're trying to be financially responsible. We have to make those sacrifices. So, right. We had to be 100 with ourselves and then communicate that to anyone else who, we would normally do things with or go on trips with, you know what I'm saying? So it's about being responsible and keeping that communication open.
Right.
Because it's funny. It's really funny. Really quickly, I work as a massage therapist also, and it's really funny because I used to work in the airport, and a lot of spouses, and I get it from men and women. I can't even say like one sex does it more than the other, because both do it. A lot of men are like, oh, I'm doing this, but I don't need my wife to know. You know what I mean? When I used to work in retail, a lot of the women were like, oh, I'm just going to go throw this in the trunk, and my husband will never know that I just bought these shoes. I mean, it's really, really funny. So when you brought up that point about the financial infidelity, it is very, very real. Like, okay, let me just sneak and buy this, and my husband or whoever doesn't have to know. And it's actually the one who does the budgeting for the family has the upper hand. Like the person who's like handling the finances, they can get away with it a lot easier than the person who's not. But it's very real. I thought that was kind of funny because my personal experience, I have seen this firsthand.
Well, again, that also goes back to what I was sitting there saying, like the financial, and I'm glad that there's always a responsible person in a household that wants to sit there and actually budget. That's a great thing. I'm pretty sure that we've had this conversation outside the show that what you were like, when it comes down to budgeting, it's me. Like I'm the one that's taking care of everything. I'm the one that's like making sure that I'm fiscally responsible for what's going on. So I completely concur and I completely understand like what exactly is happening. But at the same time, I'm just saying though, to have a wedding, and I'm glad that you and your husband actually had that conversation with your family, but most people are not having that same conversation. $44,000 is a lot. Okay. $44,000 is a lot. That's actually the average of costs that was actually for weddings in like 2018. That was not that long ago, but now we're in 2021, but it was like $44,000. That's like a year's worth of wages for
I was gonna say
one
that's
day.
somebody's salary.
One day, okay, like that's a
lot.
whole, that is somebody's salary. So I'm saying like, I mean, I'm not sitting there saying like don't have the wedding of your dreams, but make sure if you're having the wedding of your dreams, I would think that you should have the conversation of your dreams when it comes to your money. Like you guys are about to come, like you sat there and say you were to get joint accounts, right? And like with joint accounts, it kind of helps you guys with like the credit and making sure that everything like you both are doing good. So I would think that should be in the conversation as well. I mean, by all means, if you want the wedding of your dreams, have the wedding of your dreams. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, try to tie the knot for me. I can figure it out a whole nother day. Like I'm not like the type of person. I'll be like, look, let's just let's go to the courthouse, get married real quick. How you doing? Sign the papers. Have all our friends just meet us at some type of like, cute little destination. And we have our honeymoon. They could come be there for a couple days. We're there for 2 weeks and then be done with it. Like,
yeah, it's really all your preference. My husband and I had a small wedding and then we had a super fun like vacation, like you said, little something small, but it's all in what you value. So some people love that big day and some people are like, this is beautiful because it's small and intimate, and then we spend the money on ourselves instead of other people. But again, it's really just up to your discretion.
You can invest and spend your money on like your own dreams and goals. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, I'm not married yet, but I can sit there and spend my money on my dreams and my goals, and I can just leave that wedding migraine to my friends. Like they want to get married, by all means, go ahead. Do what you want to sit there and do, but I don't really think I want that. That's another.
It can be a headache because most people, especially in our Western culture, we do tend to, like I said before, go above our means and we spend the money on lavish things and then we cry broke later. This is the type of this is the mindset we want to try to get out of. Like you mentioned, the debt management, and we do have the workshops that are at your disposal, and we would love for you all, those of you who are watching, to take advantage of those things because we want to teach that to be debt free, and to be a better steward over your money. So I mean, it all, like you said, all it takes is one step forward, right? So what are some of the other things that we can compare as single and married life when it comes to finances? What's another thing on your list?
I have time for like side hustles or working on what I really want to do and working on what I want to do. Like if I have, I'm here with WSB, but I can still do my photography on the side. I can still work on like my creative projects on the side and still make, my little extra dollars, my little cents, my little coins on the side. I could do that too. And having that time, you're a mom and you're married, so I'm pretty sure that may not happen for you. It's easier for me.
You be surprised.
Like again, it's okay, I'm sorry, but I'm saying like I'm like starting this business. I can work full time, and I can also have like my little side hustles as well. So I have really the best of both worlds because I don't have anybody else to really take care of besides my father. So that's also a really great thing for me.
Okay, I get that. I mean, as a married person, I know tons of married people that got more than one hustle. But I mean, I think it becomes more of being accountable to somebody else other than yourself. But I think that married people can hustle just as hard. We just, me, the communication is always key. So, when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to budgeting, is keeping those lines of communication open. I would say a benefit to being married is, you get the chance to build your credit together. You guys have the joint cards. And again, one person may be, I'm speaking for myself, more financially responsible and the other person benefits. So both of you guys, boom, credit's going up. What else happened? You can lead to having a better mortgage rate. Why? Because both of you guys have A1 credit. You both have the two incomes coming in. You may get approved a little easier, a little faster, and you may not be paying as much. Why? Because you are doing things together. So those are just some pluses that I have found personally.
I'm being married. That's all you got. That's all you got.
There's more. But yeah, I mean, to me, it depends. Like, I don't know. When I was single, I wanted to be married, and it was like I always thought about my family. That's a good question. That I know I asked you before when we were on the phone before, but like when you're single, do you think about your financial goals as it pertains to your family? Me personally, I definitely, after I got married, I kind of jumped right into this role, and it wasn't always my role. But I kind of felt like it was just very easy to kind of settle into like the budget person, but I always had in mind, financially what I saw my family doing. You know what I'm saying? Like as a single person, do you think about your finances in a family type of ideal, I guess?
I guess I can answer that with the fact that like I can set extreme financial goals for myself. So when I get to that point of being married or getting married and having a family, I already have things in place so I don't have to worry. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You said marriage is all about compromise, and compromise is great for preventing your spouse from walking out on you. But it doesn't lend itself to the massive action and extreme results that you want. I'm single, and as a single person, I can shoot for the stars financially. And I want to be able to reach financial independence and retire early. I can do that because I'm setting that extreme for myself. Like I want to get out of debt early. I want to have an emergency fund. I want to have extra income. I want to make sure I have great insurance, great life insurance. I want to make sure I can plan for my retirement and have those extreme goals already set in place. So when I meet the man of my dreams, or of course, but when I meet the man of my dreams, I'm already set financially. So like I can do it with a high enough savings, and I can make sure I put my savings in the right place. I could dream of building on my own. If I want to have a whole nother business, I could do it. If I want my child to have a business, they can do it. If I want to sit there and buy an Aston Martin, which, that's just something my brother's always put in my head for no additional reason, or move to a whole other country, which I've always told you guys I wanted to retire in Madagascar. I could take, I can travel the world. I can sit there and do what I got to do. I can put my money where it's going to work for me, and I don't have to hear someone else being like, well, this is what you should do. This is what we have to do this. We have to do that. It's more like, okay, I can literally pursue I can have the freedom I really want to have, and I can pursue the extreme financial goals. And I say extreme because no one's actually doing them. like, especially when they're single, like they don't really take advantage of actually what, like being single. And yes, like I did name a couple things that I actually would think that being single is very important for us to start like to be thinking about, regardless of whatever age you're single at. But yes, getting out of debt was one of them. I told you like before we even got on the show what the national student rate debt is. That's from 6 hours ago. It's $1.8 trillion. Imagine how many of us, right? How many of us, especially Black women, have student loan debt still. And what did Delika say earlier? She said from cradle to the grave. So like, you went from like, trying to make your parents out. You got like, you got like a couple college degrees, but those college degrees are going to just keep going with you. And now you have to pay off that debt, as well as like the mortgage as well. Look, man, let me just focus on my getting out of debt first. It's called debt management. I can definitely do that. Like, let me learn how to build up an emergency fund. Where to build an emergency fund at, right? Where to actually build an emergency fund that's actually going to help me in my life while I'm going through life, because life happens every single day, right? Make sure if I can earn some extra income, why not? Like, that's the whole point of me actually being able to earn extra income and being able to put it and move it in certain places. And then, when I say have insurance, I mean, don't just sit there and go with the job that you're working and think that's just enough. Like I said, I'm single. I want to plan for the family and for the marriage. I have to make sure that my dime is good enough for me and plus whoever I want to sit there and bring into this world. Yes, I can change beneficiaries, so my husband will be fine, but my child or my children are going to be a-okay. And then, just make sure I have a great plan. Retirement is, I'm 36, retirement is not that far. It's, I could blink, it'll be right there. So I'm like, if I do it now, I can know I have a nice little luxury retirement. And I think that's a really good, those are really good extreme goals to actually have while I'm single, because it's going to prepare me for having the family and the marriage I want to have.
I think those are awesome goals. I think also that whatever you do single, you can do as a couple. I mean, couples, even though you are joint, you're one, you have individual goals, and it's okay to set those goals for yourself and for your family. And to be honest with you, I don't see much of a difference between you and I when it comes to those financial goals. I mean, we we both will, have our hustles. We both have those goals to become debt free. And it's just when you're married, I would say more on a technicality, companies they feel safer. That was the term used in one of the articles I read. Companies feel safer when it comes to somebody being married over someone who is single.
You're going to get back. So messed up.
Can I share?
Yes, ma'am. And you look beautiful.
I know those.
I love this topic tonight. Okay, and please pardon my appearance. I am on mommy duty and just ran out of my car. I've been at the pool. So, but I love this topic, and I couldn't share while in my car because my signal kept going in and out. But I think it's a really good topic. And, to your point, Laura, you just said, I don't really see a difference between you as a single person, me as a married person. And I sort of feel like I have all the gamuts covered because I've been single, I've been married, I've been divorced, single again, right? So I've seen the whole thing. And I'll say as a single person, well, let me also back up, because there's a difference between being single with no child and being single with a child. So that also adds a different element. So in my younger years, single with no child, for all the YouTubers, take a guess, Black don't crack, okay? Anyway.
They're probably mad right now. Don't do that. They're probably like, oh, she's probably like, how old is she?
Sugar all day, okay? Look, but in my single years before my child, what was beautiful is that I remember having a lot of debt. I remember clearing that debt. I remember saving money. I remember traveling. I remember building up my wealth. And it was all about all about me, right? And then once you've been able to do that, and hear me, I don't think that's a bad thing, because if you have positioned yourself where you can focus on you, do that thing, because eventually the tide may turn where you won't be able to do it. And so in my younger years, I was able to do that. And then I shifted the focus and started saying, okay, well, I think I'm okay. Now let me help my family, right? And so then it went to my mom, my sister, my nieces, my nephew, my godchildren, that sort of thing. And then, I got married, and people who are married, they too have a different dynamic, because like you were saying, Laura, sometimes a partner could be less financially responsible than the other, or less financially educated, or lack a different discipline, whatever the case may be. But I think you have two scenarios. You have people, actually three. You can have a couple who both come in and they both on and popping with the money, right? You can have, that's one scenario. You can have another couple, they come in, they both suck with the money. That's two.
That's true too.
And then you can have it where one is up, one is down. So three different scenarios. And no matter which of the three you find yourself in, they can always improve. If you're on and popping, you can always do better. If you're both down, hey, you need to get connected to the campaign and attend the workshops like you were just talking about, Tanisha, and really become financially educated. It's not too late for you. And you're right, in so many different relationships and marriages. My daughter was in a car, so I was nice. I only talked about money, not the other. But you got the sex, you got communication, and you got money. Those are the three things that oftentimes will destroy a relationship. And then when you have one that's sort of doing their thing and the other, by all definitions, that's unequally yoked, right? And some of you guys have heard that expression before, and that can cause hardship. But again, that's why I love the campaign of coming on board and getting a seat at the table, because it builds not just you, it builds you in your marriage. You then pass that on to your children. You can then create generational wealth and actually know what the heck you're doing and how to do it. And from the standpoint of having better credit score, marriage ain't never made my credit score better. I'm gonna be honest with you on that. And it ain't never made my finances better. I'm just gonna be real, but that's for me. It ain't never made me better. It put some strain on some things, but it didn't upgrade nothing. But for some folk, it can, it can. And again, there's a couple of different scenarios where a person can find themselves. So, you have husbands that carry the load for the wives, and then you can have wives that carry the load for the husband. I have some friends that their husbands make less than them. I've even seen scenarios where the husband does not work at all. And so it's really just a matter of what works for them. And then, of course, many of us have seen the scenario where the husband is the primary breadwinner and maybe the wife doesn't work. And so you really just sort of have to figure out. But when you're in a union, it's not this person is above, that person is beneath. They really should come together in that, what are we trying to build for our family unit? Where are we trying to go as a couple? What do we want to build for our children? And really being able to develop a mission statement, a vision, and being able to implement that and revisit that thing on a quarterly basis, a semi-annual basis, an annual basis, right? And I would encourage involving your children. I know we're talking about married versus single, but when you're a family, if you have kids, your kids should be a part of that. There are some things that I'm doing right now in terms of financial and some moving and shaking things. My daughter is a part of that. Every time I go out to do X, Y, and Z, she's present. She is a decision maker, even at her age. of
Yes,
some
it
of the
is.
financial things that I do. And I think that's important because a lot of times when we don't involve the children, it's like, oh, this is an adult conversation. See your way out. This is between mommy and daddy. So now you have these young children who grow up not knowing anything about money. And then one day they turn 18 and it's like, boom, you're an adult. Figure it out. Well, based on what?
Right.
Happened.
Who prepared me to figure it out? How am I going to figure it
Right.
out? Based on what? And so when we talk about financial education, it's not a hype. That button that you have on your jacket, it really does mean something. And mine is right here again, ladies and gentlemen. I just walked through the door, but there's mine right there, right? Yeah, Tanisha, wear your button. You need to be pinned up, right? Right. So it does mean something, and we can have what we desire. We can be financially free. We can be financially responsible. And, to your point, I can't remember who it was, Laura, Tanisha. I think it was you, Tanisha, talking about, or I don't remember who it was. Somebody was talking about having your different protection plans in place. How much of that should you have? If you have that, that's another topic. And that might be a topic for a different night, but I think it sort of relates when you're talking about as a single person, do you need to replace your income for anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. For most people, they say, no, if I'm single, what do I need my income to be replaced for? You may not need to, but when I was single, I wasn't thinking about replacing my income for anybody else. As a single person, I was thinking about planning for my future and understanding that I hope this day never comes, but there could come a day when I am married, or there could come a day when I do have a child. And I want to make sure I have plans in place now at a lower cost. And while I'm still insurable, that yes, healthy, that I don't know what the future holds. But if I put this thing in place now, I'll be in a better position asset-wise for my child or for my spouse. And, when we're looking and we're talking about what we want in him or what we want in our partner, my encouragement to the ladies out there is hold your own. Make sure you bring in something to the table. You want him to have a good credit score? What's yours? You want him to have an emergency cash reserve, an emergency fund? What's yours? You want him to have a property? Have you ever owned one? You want him to have all of this lined out. What do you have? Can you bring something to the table? Because I promise you, the queen I'm raising in my house, she will never go into a relationship like, oh, I need him to make me better. No, here's your standard. And if he's not there or higher, keep it moving. Period. And there should never be a time that just because, in my opinion, these are my opinions, and this is an open dialogue and an open forum, but my opinions. Just because I fall in love, I don't fold all my dreams and be like, oh, well, I'm in love now, or I'm married now. So to the side with everything that I've been planning to do. A lot of times we get lost in that, but you blink and God forbid,
there it goes.
At least one of us on here, married, divorce. So, you've heard women say, oh, you got to have, I forgot what they call it, the MAD fund or what do they call it? It's basically your side thing that you gotta have. Oh, your side account. I don't know.
Secret fund.
Basically, something women do where, in case something don't go X, Y, and Z. I don't believe in secrets and stuff. I think and I'm not knocking people who have their own thing. I believe that it's okay to have a joint account and it's okay to have your separate accounts, but be honest about what you have so that your spouse doesn't find out later, and then now you got issues in your marriage. Now, if y'all say, hey, we're not discussing all of what it is, but just know I got something, that too, that's up to each person. Everybody has to decide what's best for them. But I think honesty is important. Whether single, be honest to yourself, or whether married, be honest to yourself and your partner. That's all I have to say. Done.
I love it. Absolutely. I absolutely appreciate. Thank you for sharing, because that gives us some insight. I mean, I've been single and I've been married and I have a child and I've been a single mom. So, I mean, those are some of the areas that I can honestly say that I've walked and, haven't thought about finances. I mean, for a long time, I just thought about finances for myself and my son. And, you know, when I become married, I think about finances for everybody around. So I go back to the question, you know,
Same.
when you're single, do you think about your family? I mean,
Heck yeah, my future family gonna be okay. Cause I'm set it up right. Like I'm trying to tell you, I'm not playing no games. This campaign has changed my way of thinking when it comes to money. I'm not gonna sit there and do what my friends or what I would have done if I was not here. So when I was literally not thinking, like when I got out of debt last year, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I just got out of debt, but realized that my name now went on a deed to a house. If something happened to my dad, that's going to be out of debt. So I'm back right where square one, but now I got to sit there and think about, okay, the vision has to be stretched a little bit more because I want my parents that built this house that we grew up in and I came back to. That's their legacy. That's what they came into. I'm not going to just let somebody come in and just sweep it underneath me. I want to be able to pay it off. And if, hey, by just a chance that my brother wants to sit there and have a family out there in the YouTube world. I'm hoping that may not happen. We don't know. Okay. Just saying. But like, if he wants to have a family or if I want to have a rental, but just have a house that's paid, whatever I just want to be able to have a place to be able to say that's ours as well. Like, you know, I have things that's already set up. I feel like if I go into any relationship, like Dalitha said, and like I said before, I can't go into it without us being on the same page about money. Like, I can't have that conversation. You can't sit there and try to tell me that you're like, oh, I'm gonna move in with you. What you mean? Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, so you mean that you're gonna move in with me. What do you plan on bringing to the table now, if that's the case? Is it because of A, that you don't have it, or B, that you lied about something, or C? There's questions I'm gonna start asking. So if I can sit there and be completely upfront with you, yes, I got things I'm working on in place to make sure that Tanisha is gonna be okay, and whoever little Tanisha is gonna be, we're gonna be good. But if you're coming into my life as a husband, I want you to walk beside me. I don't want you to walk behind me. That's ew. Why? No.
thank you. Real quick, if I can just interject, you the key word you said was questions. We don't ask enough questions.
I've been saying
and it goes without saying, you know, you don't know what you don't know. But we have to get smarter about when it comes to choosing our mate, or even when we're in our marriages, to open up, like Dalitha said, to be honest with yourself and with your spouse, no matter what it is you're doing with your finances, be open about it. Don't have the financial infidelity that we see so much of. I mean, it's really easy. It really is that easy to just have an open conversation.
But you realize, okay, so I get it. Sometimes you see somebody and you're like, you know, I could make him better. That's the case. Okay. Only because I read an article. Okay. Actually, I saw an interview with Denzel Washington's son. All right. He was talking about his parents. And, you know, this is Denzel and Paulette, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, their most quietest under wraps marriage you ever heard, but they've been together for some time. Mm-hmm. But he literally said, like, first of all, the interviewer was like, you know, your mom and, you know, your dad being Denzel Washington. He was like, no, first of all, my mom was Paulette, and she held down my dad when he didn't have anything. So while she was still working and going to school, she held him down. But that's what makes it work, because Denzel saw that she was here and he had to get there and stay there and stay level with her. He was like, I'm not going to have you just keep working and I can't work. No, that's not what's going to happen. That's what I would say that brings to the table. Like my parents, my dad was a breadwinner, right? But when my dad wasn't there, my mom was there. It has to be a balance. Yeah. And even when you are questioning it, like it's okay to question. Hey, if you don't know how, I could show you where to sit there and find some financial educations for you to sit there and make yourself better. Because if you want to be with me, you're gonna have to go through. If that's the case, you're gonna have to go some levels. And if you're not there yet, let me know at the beginning, because one, you don't want your time wasted. Two, if they really cared about you and really loved you, they will have no issue actually trying to make themselves better too.
Absolutely. Can I share something, because you guys are talking about questions? And I know Laura always ends with some beautiful share and, you know, a beautiful picture. So I know it's coming and I don't want to run into that. But it's funny and it's true at the same time. And if many more women would start asking questions, we would probably have a lesser divorce rate. Or if you chose to stay married, you would be happier in your marriage. Or heck, you might decide, pump the brakes. We not getting married. So this is a video I want to share. It's funny as heck, but try not just to get caught up in the laughter and actually hear the questions. And for our YouTubers, if you are dating, ask the questions. Go look up the video, play it over and over again, write them down. You don't got to ask them all on the first date, but over a series of dates, get all these questions answered. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to play this video. It's like 3 minutes and hopefully, can y'all see my screen? No, you didn't because something just happened. Okay, let me click this. Okay, you can see it now, right?
Yes.
And you can see all my continuing ads and everything else I just put up there. Okay, here we go. This is a gentleman by the name of Creflo Dollar, actually in Atlanta, and you can listen for yourselves.
That's why I say, single people, if you dating somebody, you need to ask 1,000 questions during the dating process. You don't need to be sitting up there talking about, well, I go to church and I talk in tongues. And a big plus is I'm a member of World Change. Oh, praise the Lord, I done found my husband. You might have found the devil. Now, hold up a minute, girl. You need to ask some questions. Y'all need to sit down and go on a whole lot of dates. What's your name? Is that your real name? Do you have your daddy's name? When can I meet your daddy? Is your dad and mama together? How do you act when you get mad? Do you throw things? Do you cuss around? Do you beat up on people? I need to know, do you have a job? Where do you work at? How much money do you make? How long you been working there? Do you have a bank account? How is your credit? Can I see your credit score? Do you have a house? Or you live in an apartment? Do you pay for your gas in your car? Do you live with your mama and them? I need to understand what you're doing, what you like to eat. Do you plan on being fine like that all your life? Or you plan on getting big? How many children do you want to have? Will you get upset if we don't have no kids? You plan on having an inheritance? Do you have insurance? Can you pay for your funeral if you were to die today? You need to know who you're marrying. And don't you dare get married to somebody talking about, I've never seen him angry since I met him. It is not time to marry that person. You need to see how he looks. And you need to ask that woman, how you look without your makeup? Don't put none on tomorrow. I need to see. The hair you got on your head, is that yours or did you purchase it? And if you purchase it, is it paid for or are you in debt? I need to know. When you blink your eyes, are those your eyelashes or did you buy those from somewhere? I need to know. You smell good today, but what about tomorrow morning? I need to know. Do you believe in taking showers at night or in the morning? Do you believe in taking 3 days off and then take shower? How is your relationship with soap and water? I need to know.
I know that's
What's your motive?
yes.
All that time, I love him and I'm ready to get married to him. You don't even know him. Ask him questions. I mean, in these days, ask all kinds. When you're going to marry somebody, ask some of the questions. I know the big elephant in the room. Ask the question, are you attracted to men or women?
Right.
You live in Atlanta.
Are you trying to marry me because you're trying to hide something? I know you look manly, but what is it? What you doing in the booth, in the back, in the corner, in the dark? Flip Wilson. I got to tell you, I need to know. Did your daddy commit adultery? Did his daddy commit adultery? Because I don't know if this thing, got a part 3 in it, and I don't want to be no part of it. You asked a bunch of questions. Don't ever talk about you ain't got nothing to talk about. And don't wait till him or her starts the conversation you started. Sit down. How you doing today? All right. Pull the questions out. Let's go.
All right. I just wanted to
Yes.
share.
Yes.
Love that video.
Yes.
Hey, ask questions and be
Oh, do that.
prepared for the answers. And I think it's Tina Turner. The song "What's Love Got to Do with It?" When you're young, you're like, "Oh, I'm in love." It's a whole lot more to this marriage thing than love. It's a whole lot more to it. And I think the love thing starts with loving yourself. Many people do not fall in love with themselves and love themselves. And when you can love yourself truly, you're complete. So if you decide to get married, it's even better because nobody can complete you. Will and Jada, they did something on it and, talked about like the turmoil they had in their marriage because, they were wanting each other to make the other person happy. It was like, wait, this is the problem we're having. You can't make me happy. That's literally impossible for you to carry that torch. And I teach my child that it is not my responsibility to make you happy. I'm your mother. It's my responsibility to provide, nurture, and impart wisdom and, protect you. It is not my responsibility to make you happy. I didn't sign up for that. Now, if in the process I help to make you happy, great. But you got to find your own happiness. That is not my job.
And it's not the job of your significant other either. A lot of people do that. They search for relationships. They're searching for somebody to fill a void, or so to speak. You got to fill that yourself. You got to do that work yourself. Yes, I absolutely agree.
And it's okay to heal yourself. Just letting everybody know out there. Okay, it's okay to sit there and say that I need to fix me first before you jump into something. It's okay to do that. Because some people are like, oh, like, I've been through some hard times. He cheated on me like 6 or 7 times. And I was like, and I'm like, And it's like, look, man, just take like 1 year and just find out who you are. Just concentrate on yourself. And I promise you, you will never go back to anyone who's cheating on you. You will, that line is been crossed and you jumped over it. You're done. Because you know how to love yourself. So you're very right.
And not only that, but while you're doing that healing, while you're going through the healing process, set the bar for yourself. Set your expectations and don't be afraid to communicate those things. And not only have those communications, have that communication of your expectations with your significant other or whoever you're dating, but have those expectations for yourself. Whatever you expect of him, expect it of yourself. And I'll never forget my uncle saying this to me, and you actually touched on it already, Dalitha. He said, all these women out here, what can he do for me? What can he do for me? Well, what can you bring to the table? Who are you? Who are you to demand that if you're not demanding it of yourself? So I 100% say, love yourself first, set those expectations for yourself, and then communicate those same expectations to your significant other.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you can high five yourself like, yes, girl. Yes, yes.
Go ahead. One of those. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't wish divorce on anybody, but if there should be a divorce, you will go through an emotional, perhaps if the person hasn't already checked out, a lot of times, the emotional is hard, but you can't control the emotional. But the financial, that part you can control. You can do something about that. And this is Mommies and Money. So mommies, prepare your money. So you are strong going in, you are strong coming out if that should ever happen, and you are strong in the middle, period.
And that's the big thing. And like you said, and like I think that's what Laura even created Mommies and Money, because I think there's a lot of moms out there that don't have the financial education that they want to actually have. And looking at some things, they have a friend who told them about something, so they just jumped in. They don't really know anything about investments. They may not know anything about like insurance. There's a lot of things we could touch on. And like I told Laura, like, if we ever do a live shoot of this is going to be probably the one where we get all the women and we're like, look, this is going to be one of those view conversations. And it's going to be very open and honest. And a lot of women out there they're just waiting. They are literally waiting for that one conversation to be like, hey, financial literacy is something that you want us to dare pass on to your children. I promise you. So I'm just speaking on the single woman who hasn't had a child yet. But I just have, I have a little sister, I have a niece, like I have people in my life. The village is real strong, but I know that when it comes down to what life I want to bring into this world, I promise you, I will be so set for that kid because the village is not going to let me down, and the village is going to be like, yo, they're going to push me until I make sure I get to that point where I'm going to be here. And so my kid will know I will be here at all times. So, Laura, the floor is yours, ma'am. Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay. So as we wrap up, like Talitha said, I always like to end on a little Black History fun fact, because we do Black History every single day, 365 days of the year. So
wait. Happy heavenly birthday. Malcolm X's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, go ahead. You do it. Sorry, it's Black History.
Right. Oh, before I get to that, please reach out to us. We are phoenix17@gmail.com, correct?
Yes, I already put
that in there on the
2017. We are Phoenix 2017 at Gmail.
We are Phoenix.
Spelled FENIX.
Yes.
Reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Let us know other topics that you would like to discuss, as well as join our conversation. So excited. And now we are going to put the spotlight on, give me 1 second.
Okay, it's Laura. You're spotlighting yourself. I'm really upset.
I'm sorry. Right, I am the Black History fun fact. No, Miss Annie Turnbow Malone, one of, if not the first Black self-made female millionaire. She had a knack for chemistry and a fascination with hair. Developed and manufactured her own line of hair care products, Poro. I think that's how you say it. She established the Poro College of Beauty, and the college created jobs for almost 75 million women. Just a little bit of background information. While she was experimenting with hair and different hair care products, she developed and manufactured her own line of non-damaging hair straighteners, special oils, and hair stimulant products for African American women. She actually did not have a patent for this. She actually had one of her employees who sold her products was Madam CJ Walker, and she was actually one of our other spotlighters a couple of weeks ago. But Madam CJ Walker actually had the patent for a similar hair care product. But Miss Annie Turnbow did not have the patent for this, but she did copyright her own formula. So let's see what else it says. She named her new product Wonderful Hair Grower to promote her new product. She sold the Wonderful Hair Grower in bottles door to door. And as it got more popular, that's when she broke out and had a team of people and then created the college. So I thought that was pretty awesome that back in 1902, she was doing this, and she was one of the first, actually the first Black self-made female millionaire.
Crazy.
So awesome. And what did I hear you say? She had a team of people, right?
She had a team. Yes,
she had a team of people working together, growing together, building together. So out there listening, reach out to Tanisha, Laura, myself. Email wearephoenix, FENIX 2017@gmail, and join our team. Let's work together to build the financial industry, to make sure that every single mommy got it together. You are strong, you are powerful, you're beautiful, and you are financially independent, even within the family structure. Sending you love.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
I'm talking about. I knew I remember that name because she's buried in the Burr Cemetery in Chicago, the same cemetery my grandfather's born.
Oh wow!
Wow! Yes, she's.
I just never knew about it.
South side of Chicago.
Yeah, I love how you pull these together, Laura. It's so awesome.
Oh, thank you. I love this. I love letting people know, because we don't know about these. Huge figures.
And you can't run out of facts. You can't run out of people to spotlight. There are really so many. It's countless, way more than 365. And so that education and that love of self is so very important. And it doesn't mean there's not love for others, but you absolutely got to love yourself. So
Absolutely.
great job.
All right. Well, that is our segment today. Thank you all for joining in, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good night.
Awesome.